only about filing individual tax returns or GST returns? Is there anything else to taxation consulting? Taking it as a full-fledged profession? Well, there is. Let's understand what is tax consulting. Hi guys, thank you so much for tuning into my channel. I'm Rupal, I'm a chartered accountant and a graduate from Shriram College of Commerce. Let's understand what is tax. Tax is a financial compulsory charge by the government of every country, and that can be in two forms. Primarily, number one, it can be in the form of direct tax, which means that it is levied on the income or the profit that you're earning. Number two, it can be levied indirectly, meaning it will be a part of the cost of the goods or service that you're consuming, and it is collected through the service provider or the person who's selling you the goods. So that is an indirect tax collection mechanism. In tax consulting, most of the professionals are either chartered accountants or lawyers. There are very few exceptions to it, and we'll talk about it as we move on to find the different genres of tax consulting. Number one, expatriate taxation or individual taxation. This is basically a tax levied on every individual. In India, it can be for persons like you and me. We are residents. We are earning income either from salary, or someone might be doing proprietorship, and they are earning that income, and that is being actually managed by a team if you are hiring a chartered accountant. So that is individual taxation. Advanced version of that is expatriate taxation. Expatriates are people who are foreign nationals or non-residents. They are coming to India and they're earning some income from India. For example, a person who is in Japanese company, they might come to India and work in the Indian subsidiary of that Japanese company, or he or she might be earning income from that company. That income is taxed in India, and there are different rules levied for expatriates. How much tax they have to pay? Do they have to contribute to social security? And if they're going back, how will they get refund of that social security? How much tax they have paid in India, for example, on the same income, if they have paid taxes in Japan also, then can they get a credit of the same? All these kind of questions and certain more complicated situations are actually handled by the expat team. So this is the first genre. Number two, corporate taxation. Corporate taxation, as the name suggests, is taxation on corporates or taxation on companies. Now these can be again in two types. For example, a company who's only earning from India and doing all their business and activities in India, there will be rules more prevalent to the domestic law. Domestic law basically is the Income Tax Act 1961. That is the domestic law. So there are rules and provisions and tax law around that domestic law which that Indian company has to take care of. An advanced version of that is there are multinational companies. Possibly they are earning income from different parts of the world, and they might be doing transactions with different other companies of different countries. And there are different kinds of rules for that. They have to comply with the domestic law, as well as there is a concept of international taxation. For example, there is an Indian company. It earns income from US and pays taxes in US. And on the same income, they're also paying taxes in India because it's an Indian company. It is required to pay tax on the global income. Now, isn't it double taxation? They are paying tax twice on the same income. Now, there are rules regarding how this Indian company can actually get a credit of the additional tax paid over and above what they are paying in India. So that's one small example of international tax. Another example can be a foreign company, let's say a US company. It earns income from India in some form. Now this foreign company will have to pay tax in India. There are rules regarding how much tax do they pay, can they get a benefit of an exemption or lower rate. That is a part of international taxation. These are very simple basic examples which I'm telling you. There are much more complicated situations that an international tax team handles, but you get the gist of it, right? Third department is transfer pricing. Now, transfer pricing essentially are the rules and the provisions regarding determining the price that two companies which are under common ownership or common control have to deal with. To again take a very basic example, let's say company H is the holding company of France. Now this company H has two subsidiaries in India, S1 and S2. Now H, S1 and S2 will be doing certain transactions with each other. Now all those transactions have to be at an arm's length or at a price which is similar to the price they will charge from third party companies. Why? Because they should not be taking advantage that they are under common control, and that is what transfer pricing team looks into. How to determine the price, what are the methods of determining that price, whom should be compared with. We should ideally compare it with certain companies who are into same business with same environment. How much price do those companies charge, and how much price do H, S1 and S2 are charging? These are the kind of things and certain more complicated things which the transfer pricing team handles, and that's what the transfer pricing expert does. Number 4, mergers and acquisitions tax team. Now you all would have heard about very famous merger deals like Walmart and Flipkart, Vodafone and Hutch SR deal, or Vodafone and Idea merger. Now these are kind of business commercial deals, but every commercial deal also has a tax element and a tax perspective that must be looked into. And every agreement has a tax clause. How much tax should be charged, who will bear the tax cost. If the companies are in different countries, then who will bear how much tax cost in which country. And all of these things are dealt with and analyzed from a tax perspective by the mergers and acquisitions tax team. Much before the deal is finalized, there are so many commercial decisions, there are so many negotiations, and in all those negotiations, a tax team also has a role to play, and that's what a mergers and acquisitions tax team does. Number 5, indirect tax team. Now, indirect tax is a tax which is levied on goods and services rather than on the income or profits. Now, it's levied in two forms. One is the goods and services tax, which was introduced in 2017 by the government, and the second is the customs duty, which is basically levied if the company is importing any goods from outside of India. What are the different kinds of rates which are applicable, the good or the service will fall under which category, what compliances needs to be done, at what all levels it needs to be done, because there are state driven compliances, there are compliances on the customs port, there are compliances which are to be done on a monthly basis, on a yearly basis, on quarterly basis. There's so much more from an indirect tax perspective, and there is much more to indirect tax, and I hope I've given you a very fair, simple idea about it. So that's what the indirect tax team does. Now let me just give you a small caveat here. See, what I have explained is very basic. There are many complicated situations all throughout the year which the team deals with, because these people are expert in doing what they do. Generally in these departments you would find either chartered accountants or lawyers, but in transfer pricing especially you'll find a lot of people maybe who are MBAs, who are economists also, because transfer pricing is more of an economic understanding of the business situation. So yeah, that's it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for joining. Thank you for being a part of this journey. Please like this video and share and subscribe to the channel because it's free. And I'll see you again in the next video. Keep visualizing your goals and dream big, and I'll see you again. Bye.